Never talk smack about a person who has a direct line of sight to your horses.
Hi, and welcome to the Sky Machine. Hello, and welcome to the Sky Machine, a collective... I'm going to say it again. Hello, and welcome to the Sky Machine, a collective world-building podcast. No?
Would you like me to say it? Hello, and welcome to the Sky Machine, a collective world-building podcast about dynamic, fantastical, and concise storytelling.
I don't know why I can't keep it in my head. I goddamn wrote it. Mm-hmm. But no, it's just impossible. I have to have it written down in front of me, and I wrote it wrong there. I didn't have the word podcast in there. I just completely skipped over it, and it caught me off guard because apparently I just read things. I don't internalize what they mean or anything. I just read them.
Also, just so you know, that one wasn't me. That was a line I overheard from my brother, who was just from his room. I just heard that emanate out.
I can 100% see your brother playing Minecraft. And
definitely Minecraft.
Definitely Minecraft. Oh, this is the second episode in a row we've mentioned Minecraft, and I think it's just going to keep going. Every episode, it's welcome to our Minecraft fan podcast. We love the game, we love blocks and mining. The Ender Dragon, bugger that guy. Don't like him. Welcome to the Sky Machine. This is part 3 again. This is episode 2.
Just receding into my jacket.
Yep. Jasper before me is becoming a very small creature. Just inside of a jacket, which is asymmetrical. I've just noticed. That's very good. This sleeve and that sleeve are different patterned fabrics, but it's cool. It's like asymmetrical.
Pointy.
Oh, like a witch. You done got one of them witch caps, like a Homestuck.
Yes,
it's you, Jade Harley of the Homestuck.
It is. I'm grunge Jade Harley.
We've lost it this episode, so we've tried to... This is the second time we tried to record it. We tried to record it at Alicia's, but it didn't work out. Now we had to come to my house.
That's okay, because the transport gives me an excuse to get a burrito on the way home.
Oh, yeah. As if you need an excuse.
Fair.
So, welcome to part 3 for the second time. We've just done Belladonna, and I think Belladonna is a really interesting episode.
Yes,
because...
I like it.
Yep.
I think it's funny that we couldn't wait like 2 episodes to have a warning at the beginning.
Yep.
For mature content.
Well, set expectations early, right?
Yep.
It's clear communication. This is not a genre. I think we talked about it this last episode. It's not a genre that we are familiar with, either of us. Don't know if we did it well. Very interesting exploration of like creating a world that is centered around like horror kind of. I not really, kind of, just straight up. But I think it was cool. I think it's something that I definitely want to do more of.
Yeah, I think we'll get a lot of that. Because, it's not like we're going to be creating worlds we don't like. So...
hopefully. I mean, if we do, feel free to be like, hey, I don't like this world. Can we start again?
Yeah, totally.
And just completely scrap that,
Yep.
Maybe we can save those and be like lost bits episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we want to put out things we're ashamed of, but like...
I mean...
Yeah, could do,
Yeah, totally.
It's all transparency. So, is there anything you felt like you learned from, like, we had a very extensive editing period when we were going over the story. There was just like one little paragraph in there that we were like not happy with, and we ended up just settling on one that we were like, okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
But I think that was really interesting. Not so much in like as a writing thing, but as a working as a team thing.
Yeah.
It was very cool to like play out that very professional like back and forth.
Yeah, it was I think it was more an issue of we're each picturing slightly different things and trying to get them to align.
Yeah, that is, it's always going to be difficult, I think.
And then I think something I've always got in mind as well is how an audience is going to hear it.
For sure.
Because sometimes I think it's really, really good to have language that's specific to that world, but also it's got to be accessible to a wide range of people, and
it's a fine line to walk.
Yeah, so that's a tip. Knowing your audience is good sometimes.
Absolutely.
And sometimes your audience is just you, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting going into the D&D thing. Like, your audience is the 4 people you're playing with and yourself.
Yeah.
Weirdly, and you've got to like run that. It's like, well, I'm running this for the audience, but I'm also here to play a game as a DM and like and all that sort of thing. It's interesting going from that to this podcast now, where we're creating a story for who knows who, like for fans of world building, for fans of writing and stuff like that. So, which is a thing that I say a lot and stuff like that. Listening back to the podcast, I'm like, oh, I say that too much. Anyway, Okay, so you've found a tip. You didn't have a tip, but you found one.
No, I have no preparation ready for this.
Yeah, well,
sat down.
Who needs it?
It's just a conversation.
I prepared one earlier. I actually have two that I'm going to pick from right now. I like this one. I like the second one. I was going to do the first one, which is pretty basic, and I'll probably go back to it. But the second one is something that occurred to me when I don't even know what I was doing, but it's something that I've thought of before, and this is the first time I've been able to like put it in words. Here's what I've said. Learning to be good, as in like good at something, good at a task that you're trying to like get right, is a constant balance between doing it your own way and doing it the recommended way. You learn, it's like, I think, D&D adventure modules are good because it's like, here's how it's supposed to be. And then they're also good because here's what you can ignore and do it your own way. But then when you get stuck, you go back to the recommended way. And so I'm constantly like listening to writing podcasts or storytelling things or like drawing things for the art that I do and stuff like that. And like learning, okay, this is the recommended way. And I need to know that so I can try my own way until I get stuck on my own way and then learn the recommended way. And then it's a constant move between those two forms. And I find it really, really fun and interesting because it's like, oh, cool. What are the tools I can learn from the recommended way so that I can mess up and like throw around all of these little things until I find my own tool, make my own tool. Yeah,
totally. Like that can even come into the style of play you have for D&D. I think because every game is completely different. Not only in the story, but some people are super into role playing and some people are more into the rules of it and everything. And so tailoring your game not only to you but then to the people you play with. Bringing in your own style.
I think we had that was sort of the crux of this back and forth discussion about the one paragraph. It's like this is, one of us is the recommended way and one of us was the own way, and it's like moving between two schools and trying to find a mid ground between them. And I just don't think we had the time to like get it right because we've been trying to. I think it's good to have a deadline, in this situation.
Definitely. And maybe one day we could even have an episode of us going back to stories and trying to rewrite them as we've improved.
That would be so good.
Or as the world has evolved. Or maybe then rewriting them as we've developed more information about the world and having cool
changing the canon essentially, or playing it through from a different perspective.
Writing stories from different perspectives of characters as we've learned more about them. That'd be cool.
It was interesting that the Belladonna story was, as with actually the last story, was taken to creative writing class that we do. And it was like sort of workshopped on, which was really helpful. At least the first part of it was. And then it was like taken back and rewritten and adjusted and stuff like that. And then added to. So it's been, the Belladonna story is probably like the most fine-toothed story that we'll get for a while.
Definitely.
Because it's we're just relying on each other's skill and maybe like other friends. I talked to my friend Marnie, who's in the Discord, about parts of the story, and she was like, have a look at this and stuff like that. But so it's really interesting. Speaking of you said before about going back to stories, it's episode 2 now. In episode 4 we will be
revisiting Big Trees.
Big Trees. We want to go back to Big Trees. And just to set up early on that we are going to be touching on stories, worlds again, and stuff like that. It's not just like every episode we get a bespoke world. They are constantly evolving things. So if you have ideas, you've listened to Big Trees and been like, wow, I'm really inspired. I've actually had a lot of nice messages from friends being like, oh, this is inspiring me. A friend of mine, Tiana, was saying that she wanted to draw and stuff like that. And
please. Like literally any ideas, any drawings, or even like if you think of a little creature that would fit well in that world.
Absolutely.
Just pop any of it in the Discord, like Twitter or anything.
Now is the time,
just go for it. We want to see all of it.
So episode 4, we will be revisiting Big Trees. So if you have any ideas, you can contact us through the Discord, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. We are at Sky Machine Pod on everything, which we don't like necessarily. We wanted to just be the Sky Machine, but that was taken on some platforms, and I think having it the same across all platforms is Better than nothing.
Consistency is one of our codes.
Exactly. I think that was the discussion that was had. So yeah, Sky Machine Pod everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Tumblr, I think, is Sky Machine Pod as well. Although I don't think I've even posted on the Tumblr. But yeah, so it's everywhere. If you have ideas, if you want to just talk about the podcast, like, yeah.
We don't have a official Pinterest, but I've been just like making inspiration boards for each episode. So if you want to check that out, that's in the Discord as well. I think the Discord is going to end up just being a pretty important resource thing. Just for accessing things that we've mentioned in each episode.
For sure. Cool.
I think something we're going to want to do occasionally as well is talk about good examples of world building and storytelling and stuff like that. And at the moment, I think we're both pretty obsessed with The Dark Crystal. Yeah,
the new Netflix series. I was shown the film a couple of years ago and just fell in love with it. And it's always been at the back of my mind. And when I found out about the TV show that was coming out, like, oh my God, I've never been more excited about it. I think the Dark Crystal TV show is one of the coolest things, one of the most unique things that's come out in years. And it's based off of a property from the 80s.
Just so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It's so
its
well
own
done.
way.
It's like all handmade. Everything
it's
you
so,
see,
like,
it's just amazing.
All the little hairs on Augra's face, like all the little lumps and pustules. It's so
gross.
Every like inch, every millimeter of these puppets is, you can see the care.
Even the landscape.
Yeah, even the landscape. Yeah,
it's just beautiful.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the movie until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I finished the series twice through, and you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it yet. I'm watching it with my partner, and we just don't have time to finish it yet, and it's killing me.
Yeah.
Softly with its love.
Okay, ew.
That's the lyrics to the song.
I know, but
it's really bad lyrics to take out of context.
When it was spoken.
Yeah, as most lyrics do. But it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, it's a huge inspiration, especially like taking a property that is very limited. It's a finished story. Usually I hate that when it's like, oh, here's a sequel to a finished story. It's like, I don't want that. Prequels, it's usually a lot worse.
Yeah.
But they've done it so masterfully. Like, they've taken all of these characters and like extrapolated upon them. You know, the Chamberlain was just like the simple manipulative character, and he did that like once or twice in the movie. But now it's like every episode he's doing something.
He's just beautiful.
Yeah. Simon Pegg does the voice acting for him, I believe. And you know Simon Pegg of yeah, okay. Look, you don't know a lot of things, so
I don't. No,
don't look at me as if
I don't know what he's from. I just recognize his face.
Oh, okay. Shaun of the Dead and At World's End and Hot Fuzz. You've seen Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
Have you seen Spaced? I think you would like Spaced. It's like an old show that he did. Anyway, it's not important.
Okay.
But he does the voice of the Chamberlain. It's so good. It's like
it's
perfect impression. Yeah. I don't think he did the original because he would have been 11 or so.
Well,
yeah.
Never know. But if you haven't seen the documentary about the making of the series, you have to watch it. It is so good. Just knowing the amount of effort that they went into. Like, one thing they mentioned, I think, was the original movie had like 30 sets, and they made them in like 3 years. Wow. And then the TV show, they had 6 months, and they had like 80 sets.
That's insane.
And just the way they talk about it, they put so much effort into making it fit into the world and making it like a love letter to the original movie.
Yeah.
And it was just so well done and thought through, and it's just wonderful.
It seems to just like abide by everything that we want to do in this podcast and everything that we love and stuff like that. So it's so good.
It's whack.
It's whack. It's WCCCC. CCCC. I had to count.
4 C's.
It's 4 C's, but I don't know. I can't count while I'm talking. I'm busy talking. It's fantastic. I really like it. So this has been part 3 of episode 2, Belladonna. I hope it wasn't too spoopy, but also being too spoopy is probably good. It's a safe environment.
Just a good level of spoopy.
Yeah, I hope it was a good amount of spoopy for you in this cool world that we made. We really enjoyed. We're talking about the aspect of like part 1 is very vague and you don't know a lot about what's going on, and you see like the beast and it's like, oh, and then part 2 we explain the whole intricate detail of how the world works and all the systems and stuff, and that's just going to be the way that it is, I think.
Yeah, I think when we were originally doing the world building, I was thinking the story at the beginning would just be like, just look like a flat detective noir story. No monsters seen initially in it. And then I was thinking, God, it's going to be such a shock for people that hear the world building.
Yeah. I think that would be a wasted story, though.
That is true.
It would be like, well, I could set this in any world. Why is it here? I guess it's your setting up story, but we don't have the liberty. I know it's an interesting writing exercise. This like potentially not coming back to this for a long time, so got to get it all out now, but it can't do too much or it's all front heavy. Yeah. How very interesting. All right, this has been The Sky Machine. Thank you for listening.
Oh, that was so fast. Okay, bye.